Welcome to See or Not to See. I'm Mark.
Hi, I'm Kurt.
And we're waiting on Jeff and David to kind of help us out here. We're supposed to be talking about Lost, and I don't know where they are.
I was passing through the studio. I've got a student waiting in my office right now for advising. I mean, I can hang out for a couple of minutes. That'd be okay.
Well, yeah, let's see how much we can get done, and maybe David and Jeff will show up and they can take over for us.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I like Lost.
Oh, good.
What's not to like?
Heck yeah, I love it. Well, let's talk about that, I guess. Let's talk about, I guess, some of the reasons why Lost is such a big hit. What do you think, Kurt? What are the things that attract so many viewers to it?
I think the serial nature of the television show, the fact that, especially after American Idol, we're so saturated with reality television, unscripted kind of television, that there's a real desire to get back to some sense of scripted drama, scripted comedy, especially I call it kind of a serial drama, because unlike most television programs, it doesn't have a self-contained narrative for one episode that begins, middle, end, and then you may have implications in later episodes, but this literally just continues on in the way that old Hollywood serials of the 40s would.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would think the last one that was done like this would be something like Twin Peaks. It seems like it's resemblant to that in some ways.
Definitely, Twin Peaks, and certainly in terms of mystery, of developing a mystery. Although X-Files, I think they're kind of shades of X-Files, although X-Files primarily dealt with self-contained narrative episodes, but it kind of built this larger meta-narrative throughout the years of, are there aliens, what's really going on, what does the government know? All of these types of questions were meta questions that swirled around within X-Files. So even though certain questions were not answered for entire seasons, much like Lost, you still had a beginning, middle, and end of most episodes.
Mm-hmm. And obviously there's tons of theories out there as far as what people think is going to happen, what people think how it's going to end, and there's so many different ways it can go. I think that's what I like about it too, that it incorporates this whole online side of things, this whole online discussion forums. I think more than any other show probably in television history has been able to generate this, and even where they've developed stuff like, fake websites for the Hansel Foundation and for these different things where you can click on, of course, the online games as well. I mean, it's just amazing all they've sprung out of it, and the show's not even over yet,
Yeah, it's an example of, and increasingly I think television is having to jump purely off of the television set into the world of new media or internet. To get people, you kind of end up dwelling within a lost world as opposed to just having a television show. You have a show that exists across multiple media, across multiple platforms. So when the show is on hiatus because of the season ending, you still have media outlets that you can engage. They actually, they released a book between the first and second season that they did not explicitly link it with a television show. But of course, people who followed the show, it's a book that gets mentioned in the first season, and then it got released within bookstores. They have the Oceanic Airlines website that I think is in bankruptcy because of the flight crash. So all of these types of different clues and allied media products being created.
Well, yeah, and they've even utilized the whole with people being able to get screen captures and TiVoing thing. They've obviously inserted things in the show where you'd almost have to go back and TiVo and watch it and slow it down or still frame it, to catch things.
Right. I mean, an obvious example of that was, and spoiler alert, I guess I should say, but when the character of Jacob gets introduced this season, which we haven't actually gotten a clear shot of this character Jacob, it just almost seems like Jacob is almost like an elemental or psychic force of some sort that Ben, one of the others, leads. It's hard when you start talking plot lines, but leads Locke, and you don't actually see there's a figure in the chair amidst all this chaos, and so of course instantly people took that slowed it down, did screen captures, and it turns out that it's Jack's father sitting in the chair. So, now we think, or the fan community believes that Jacob somehow is Jack's father, who we saw his corpse in the first season, so it'll be interesting to see how that comes into play.
Or we saw his coffin.
I thought we saw his corpse underwater. Maybe you're right.
It was
Maybe
an empty
you're right.
coffin, yeah, which is great. I guess, we're still waiting on Jeff and David, but it's time to go to a commercial break, and what we'll do
that
is...
student will probably stick around in my office.
You think so? I mean, it's
Maybe,
advisement
yeah.
time, right?
It is, yeah. They've got to sign up for classes, so
Yeah.
hopefully they'll still be there when we're through.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're supposed to, again, with Jeff and David, we're going to rate the different seasons and talk about some of the things, answer the critics, the people who don't like the show, and then we'll give you some of our theories and predictions. So we'll be back, hopefully with Jeff and David.
Stay tuned.